What's up everybody? In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at a pair of shoes that we do not see very often here in Australia. I'm super pumped to have gotten my hands on a pair. These are the Air Max Penny 1 in a home colorway. Let's get into it. The penny shoes are shoes that are not often released, but those of us who are keen on a 90s silhouette will absolutely love this guy. In Australia, penny shoes are really hard to find. They're just not released here. And I know that they are pretty limited in release all around the world, but in Australia, we just don't seem to get much love with much of a distribution of these shoes. I was incredibly surprised when I saw these on a site. I ordered them, they showed up, they're legit, and I'm in love. There is another colorway that I think now is released, the Orlando colorway. Those are absolute fire. I haven't seen a pair of those available here in Australia, but they are also another of the OG colorways released with the shoe when it was originally released, and they've got like a mix of black, white and blue. They've kind of got a half and half thing going on, and they just pop in all the right ways. But as far as the penny shoes go, it's a shoe that was originally released for Penny Hardaway, Anthony Hardaway, in 1995. It was his first signature shoe, but outside of being his first signature shoe, it was also Nike's first up-tempo shoe. Most of us who are familiar with Nike's basketball range will know that there is the Air More Up-Tempo, which was a shoe that Scottie Pippen wore. That was a shoe that was released for the first time in 1996. The up-tempo is actually the type of basketball shoe that it is, and it was introduced alongside the Force shoes and the Flight shoes. So yes, when you do see the word Force or Flight in a pair of Nike basketball shoes, they mean something. The Flight shoes were typically a lighter shoe and were more responsive, designed for more nimble plays, while the Force shoes were designed to be more for those all-out brute force type of players. Hopefully that makes some sense. What I'm trying to say is that the Flight and the Force shoes sit on opposing ends of a spectrum, designed for different types of players, but with a very clear intention in mind. What Nike didn't have was a shoe that was geared for the positionless player, much like Penny Hardaway. So the up-tempo category was born. The Air More Up-Tempo, which was released in 1996, isn't the first up-tempo shoe. It is this guy, the Air Max Penny 1, and it is a beautiful shoe, both in its design and how it feels on foot. It is incredibly comfortable. If you are looking to buy a pair, you would be looking for a true to size fit, and it is really comfortable on foot. It isn't like a lot of modern basketball shoes that fit quite tightly around the midfoot. There's actually quite a generous fit here, and it feels really comfortable for lifestyle use. The other thing that's cool about the Air Max Penny 1 is the cushioning setup, a different setup for the heel and for the forefoot. In the heel, it's obvious you're getting Air Max. You can see that right here. I mean, it's the air bubble that wraps around the entire back of the shoe. Really cool, really ahead of its time, I think, because this is pretty much what the Air Max 270 did when it was released a few years ago. That is for impact protection. In the forefoot, when this guy was released, it was released with Tensile Air. Tensile Air may not mean much to a lot of you out there, especially if you're just getting into sneakers, but Zoom Air would definitely be familiar. And that's basically what Tensile Air became. I think I love it because it speaks to an era that I grew up in. I love the style. It's unmistakably 90s. You can definitely see the up-tempo line in this shoe. I think the up-tempo shoes all have a very similar vibe to it, but it's definitely different. It's got its own identity. It's super clean in this colorway, but I think it's really hard to get a bad colorway in the Air Max Penny 1. And I think the materials really lend itself well to a good colorway application. This guy is basically an all leather upper. There is some textile here in the heel, and the heel itself is nicely padded. Some textile as well in the tongue and some leather for the branding. It's just a really nice 90s hoop shoe classic that looks just as good off the court as it would on the court. I'm super pumped I got my hands on them. I'll be keeping these, but I'm interested to know what you guys think and what your favorite 90s hoop shoe is. Let me know what you think in the comments below, but until the next video, laters.